What new weapons have we seen this year? Any changes in tactics? I think, yes, there have been a few. I mean, week by week, it can all feel pretty samey, but when you take a step back, 2025 has been dominated by fiber optic drones. These weapons first appeared around halfway through 2024, but they were novel, they were experimental. Both sides now have massively scaled up their production. Fiber optic wire-guided FPV drones. These are immune to electronic warfare jamming. It makes them incredibly dangerous. It means that their operators can see a very high-resolution 4K feed from the camera, so they can see where they're flying. They can fly in difficult visibility conditions. That is why, for example, or it certainly contributed really significantly to this idea of the kill zone, that 10 or 20 kilometer belt that stretches either side of the front lines, where almost anything that moves can be seen and can be attacked. It's why we've seen the rise of these drone nets over key arterial routes that soldiers on both sides have to use to try and defend them from those attacks. These drones have become ubiquitous. We've also seen the rise of the interceptor drones, particularly the sort of quadcopter style miniature rockets which take off vertically, can fly quite fast. Why are they important? Well, because Russia this year has massively increased its production of the Shahed or the Geran, Iranian-designed one-way kamikaze, long-range one-way kamikaze drones. So it uses those to overwhelm Ukraine's air defences. Ukraine, if it's forced to use expensive missiles against the Shahed, depletes that stockpile, doesn't have those missiles available to hit the more advanced, the even more sophisticated, more deadly, faster cruise and ballistic missiles that Russia fires. So it needs, both sides need cheaper interceptors to shoot down drones, and we've seen Ukraine using more and more of those. We've also seen increased use of the jet-powered Shaheds. Again, that technology came in slightly before 2025, although this year, for the first time, we've also seen air-to-air missiles on Shahed drones, a recognition by Russia that it needs to do more to try and defend its fleet of drones, its attack drones, as they come in, because Ukraine is getting better at defending them. As ever, war, a sort of evolution and a process of one side leapfrogging the other with technology to try and keep pace, to try and get an advantage. In terms of changes of tactics on the front line, we've seen a lot more this year of the sort of very small unit tactics, tiny groups of soldiers, sometimes as few as 4 infantry soldiers advancing, largely unsupported, to try and make their way through gaps in the front line. We've seen more use of motorbikes, more use of quad bikes, but effectively Russia trying to present a more dispersed, less attractive target to Ukrainian drones and artillery. And part of that has been to exploit the gaps in Ukraine's front line. And Ukraine has had gaps because it's got a chronic manpower crisis, a shortage of soldiers. And so the soldiers defending those zero line positions are more sparsely, more thinly spread, creating those opportunities for Russia. So we saw that east of Dobropilya, quite successful for Russia. Briefly, they spurted in, although those soldiers later got pushed back. We've seen the same tactic used in the assault in Pokrovsk, which has been among one of Russia's most significant battlefield advances. It's around the Pokrovsk direction where Russia made its biggest gains this year of about 40 kilometers. If we're to look at other significant Russian gains, the collapse of Siversk in northeastern Donbass, also worth noticing. And of course, in Kursk, Russian Kursk, where they have managed to push Ukrainian forces fully out of sovereign Russian territory. So the Ukrainians invaded in 2024, surprise assault into Russia. They held that territory with some difficulty, with extraordinary ingenuity for some time, but Russia used these fiber optic drone tactics effectively to choke off their supplies. That tactic proved successful, using drones to choke supplies. We saw that same tactic used in Pokrovsk as well. Over the course of the last 12 months or so, Russia has managed to capture around 4,600 kilometers, between 4,600 and 5,000 square kilometers of Ukrainian territory. On one hand, that sounds like a lot, but it's less than 1% of Ukraine's landmass. So broadly speaking, Russia still holds around 20% of sovereign Ukrainian territory, and Russia has paid a huge price for those gains. Around 300,000 of its soldiers have been wounded or killed over the course of 2025.